Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you guys. Well, today we are actually very lucky that we have Mr. Johan. Mr. Johan is MMU alumni and he run his own business actually. He run a business called Leap Academy, involved in training and development. So let's proceed with our video for DABIRE project 2020, and I would like to him to introduce himself to you guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nizam. Okay, my name is Johan Kamaruzaman. I run a training company called Leap Leadership Academy, where we do corporate training, and I am an alumni of Multimedia University. So I graduated in 2006 in the field of engineering. So I graduated with Bachelor of Engineering Electronics, majoring in computer, and I worked as an engineer for a few years. And after about few years working, in 2008 I make a decision. This is not the thing that I'm going to spend the rest of my life. And especially in 2008, there's economic crisis happening in the US.
Subprime
crisis, yes. Okay. During the subprime crisis, our company was badly affected. So I kept on blaming the marketing people because of, if marketing people do good, and then at least people like us, engineers and also especially the operators will continue to have work,
to have orders
to have orders, and because of the economy is not doing well, and the marketing, I blame it on marketing people. They are not doing their job. So the operators were asked to force leave, to take unpaid leave. So that a little bit broke my heart, because of no matter how hard I work as an engineer, nothing that I can do in order for me to save them.
I understand.
So that was in 2008. So I made a hypothesis, an assumption that marketing is actually the right person, the people that can determine a lot of things in an organization. So I applied for another job called product marketing executive. And while having that product marketing, working as product marketing executive, I always felt like initially I was a little bit excited. I learned a lot of new things, until one point I felt like I'm a little bit lost. I don't have that sense of direction, and I asked my boss, my manager at that time, boss, please give me direction. And my boss replied to me, Johan, how can I give you direction? Our CEO also keep on changing direction. So I was like, so and immediately I reflected, it is not about engineering, it's not about marketing, it's not about all this discipline. At the end of the day, it's all about leadership, because of if the leaders are clear what they wanted to do, if the leaders really clear on where we are heading, I think everything else falls into place. So that started the spark that I wanted to learn what leadership really is.
Understand.
And that's the beginning of my journey of wanting to learn about leadership. So I dedicated my life learning about leadership, and now my business is all about train people how to be a better leader.
So it's like the experience that you had previously has taught you that leadership is something missing. And perhaps you just started to learn this leadership knowledge. After after that conversation with your boss that time.
But it doesn't really start there and then. Of course, there is a little bit more process. I joined MMU again, and we conducted one program to train future GM about leadership. It's quite a big investment in terms of the training fees and things like that. We collaborated with some local and international university, and I was the project coordinator. I was the project manager, so I managed everything except I'm not the trainer. And that happened in 2011. I was part of the secretariat. I'm sitting behind and I'm listening to some professors and lecturers talks about leadership. But at the end of the program, I noticed that I don't learn anything about leadership.
Okay, that's interesting.
But what I noticed is actually they talk about management. They talks about financial accounting, how to read financial statements, which is very important, but not so much about leadership.
Okay.
And how did I know that the program was bad? It's because of the client. At the end of the day, they attack us because of we are the coordinator, we are the project manager of the project. The lecturer doesn't know about all this, but the client attacked us. And that is where I really asked a deep question. So what leadership really is? And I started to read books, specific books about leadership. And from that moment on, every time I saw the word leadership, that will give me a little bit of
macam what, goosebump.
Goosebump, yes.
Okay.
So I really wanted to learn. So a few books that I read at the very beginning was Robin Sharma, The Leader Who Have No Title. The Leader Who Have No Title. I really recommend that book if you wanted to check about leadership. You don't need a title to be a leader, actually. I read 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and I met Atta Kamazi, one of the leadership guru, and I started to learn from Atta Kamazi, which she talks about colored brain communication and things like that.
Okay. So that's the to set the background of our talk this afternoon. Yeah. Alright. Maybe we can go a bit further to the business. Okay, Johan. Maybe perhaps now we should focus more on the business side of you. Can you provide me some overview on your experience of using this digital business platform?
Okay, digital business platform. So in terms of the doing business digitally, so we myself I use very much of a lot of social media.
Okay.
So before that, maybe I can share a little bit about the nature of my business.
Sure.
I did a lot of corporate training. So we train corporates. We don't train individuals. In the world of training, there are two types of training, which is the public training and also the corporate training. Public training is where most of the time they will talk about the three pillars of the public training. Most of the time I call it. Number one is talking about wealth. They talk anything about money, property investment, how to make money, share stock market and things like that. Wealth. Number two is relationship. Talking about a lot of relationship program, parenting program, is all relationship. And number three is actually about health and happiness. So these are the three things that most of the time people call themselves guru, people call themselves expert sifu and things like that. They market themselves and people pay using their own pocket money.
Understand?
And there's another one more segment, we call it the corporate training. So corporate training, we don't sell to end user, we sell to organization, whereby organization needs the training to enhance the competency of the people within the organization. So most of the time, the participant did not decide which program to enroll, but the organization decide, which most of the time by their HR people or their learning and development training officers will select programs for their employee to attend all this training. So I'm in that segment. So back to your question.
So it's more or less a business to business kind of relationship.
Yes, business to business, not so much of business to consumer.
And normally, how do you meet up with these potential clients? If I can, just get some idea.
To meet up with this potential client, normally we need to really. What most of the time people do is people will use training providers, those who already established relationship, and then they park themselves as trainers as part of the training providers. or maybe some of them they knock door to doors. Most of the time they will meet the right people, which is the HR people who are going to decide which program that they want to enroll. Or there's a lot of strategies in order for us to get in the game. But my strategies is very much I wanting to go direct to the client, and I don't have all the time that I have to knock doors. You know, I cannot really knock every single doors. So using digital platform provides me a lot of leverage in order for me to get myself known to my potential clients, and at the same time what I really want to create is when client have requirement, client go and find me rather than I'm finding them. So that is where the I think the branding must be in the equation.
Okay, that's interesting. Means that you have to be present in the digital platform every day.
It depends. It depends on, actually at the end of the day it is all about your strategy, and first of all we need to understand the buying behavior of our client. So how do they normally buy? Because of when you are convincing the B2C market, so you can just convince how good you are, what's the results that you produce. But B2B is very much different. It's not about giving them results per se, but actually fulfilling their requirements as well. And normally they will have certain kind of budget that they need to spend, and there is a budget cycle. They don't spend at certain part of the year, or they make certain decision at certain part of the year, and this one is varies. You know, sometimes this industry might have this. The government towards the January, February, March might not have training, but they decide at the end of the year, things like that. They wanted to finish their budget and things like that. So you need to understand a little bit about the ecosystem, the buying behavior, and then we can design a strategy in order for us to fit into that, meaning that we fulfill. At the end of the day, business is all about providing solutions to our client.
So we're talking different nature of customer here. So public may have money, and they may spend some money, towards the end of the month when you got the payday. All those advertisement coming out in the social media. They promoting here and there, and then you are kind of interested to know more, and then you decide. But the nature of business to business is a bit different, where they have budget. They put the budget there, and they need to use the budget, perhaps in one year. They need to use it, and they have the certain requirement lah. Basically they maybe have something like training on the front end, training on the back end operation. There's a training for the top management. So they have the allocation. And to be in the business to business what you call ecosystem, you need to be aware when, and I believe who is the gatekeeper lah.
Exactly, gatekeeper. I think that's the right word. Who's the gatekeeper?
Who's the gatekeeper that decide to appoint any training and development company to run their training program. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, perhaps you can tell me a little bit more about the nature of you using this different social media platform.
Okay, sure. Of course, I've experimented a lot. I've been in an entrepreneur world since I think about 7 to 8 years ago.
Okay.
And I always thought that Facebook is the way to go because everybody talks about Facebook. Basically in 2016, I really make a very big investment in terms of time, not money. I don't spend on Facebook ads, but I spend a lot of time actually positioning myself as an expert, and started to create a lot of content, and people share my content, and I gain a lot of followers. And I tried to be active on Instagram as well, but I think Instagram not so much. I didn't get so much of because of my target audience. Because of, in Facebook at least I can add friends to the clients that I already established connection. I already established a relationship, and then hopefully that someone from that organization follows me, and if they like me, they will introduce me to the gatekeeper or the,
so there's
the
a
person in charge.
big probability lah.
Yes,
I would say so.
So and unless I spend on advertising, then only I can get the direct market, the direct target market. If not, then I actually have to just build the branding in a way that I need to okay, just hold on. Okay, we're going to cut that. So in other words, in Facebook, very much, even I built my branding, I don't find my target market too often there. Of course, I got some training jobs, but until 2018, I decided that I wanted to be a little bit more active on LinkedIn.
Okay. Whereby
LinkedIn is very much targeted for professional. They call it the professional networking site. And I think LinkedIn is a game changer because of LinkedIn. Using certain strategies that I developed, I managed to get into the right target market, and also I establish a lot of personal branding on LinkedIn, that people come and people ask for my services rather than I knock their doors.
Right. Yeah. So we can say that I mean the lesson that we can learn is actually we have many different social media platform, but then each social media platform have different segment, and when you talk about segment, you have different function, and you have different lingo lah. To be precise. The way you communicate, the way you talk, the way you actually express yourself is quite different.
Yes, very much.
Very much, and you have to be careful. Basically, you have to be selective. Who is your target? Right. So you need to know who's your target, and then you need to see which kind of social media platform is actually very much relevant or very much related to your target markets. So let's say when we use LinkedIn, we know that there are many top people inside there, and they going into LinkedIn basically with all these business related what we call motivation. Some of them wanted to get some insight on current matters. Some people actually scouting for resources. That's I believe something that you need to know about. And if you don't mind, if you can talk a little bit more about what's the difference between LinkedIn and other social media platform in terms of you as a business person, to actually get the sales lead.
Okay, sure. Okay, first of all, I think I'm going to make a comparison to Facebook, because I think most of us have Facebook. I think that is the largest social media platform, and most of them people are familiar with Facebook. But LinkedIn, not everyone familiar with LinkedIn. So if the comparison Facebook and LinkedIn, Facebook is all about personal kind of relationship, personal kind of social media. Whereby when you wanted to add someone, the button is friends. So you
button
add
is friend.
friends.
Okay.
But on LinkedIn, it's not about friends, it's connection. So
Okay.
another person that you wanted to create and establish relationship, you can request for connection. So that's very big difference.
Yeah, okay.
It's a small thing but very big difference.
Very big difference.
So how does it different? Friends means that if I know you now, you are my friends, then you are more willing to accept me in your Facebook network. But as connection professionally, you don't need that person to know you. You can just request for connection because of you are interested to have some kind of connection. So for example, like in my target market, for example, in my target market, I need to reach out to HR people, or learning and development or training officer. So I can just request connection to someone who I don't even know, and chances are they might approve my request because of first of all they also have that interest. They wanted to find someone to because of they have KPI. So they need to scout out for trainers as well. So it's a match. And I can also request connection to some top decision makers. So in LinkedIn they have about 60 over million decision makers on LinkedIn. So meaning that a lot of people are decision makers that can make decision on behalf of their organization. Okay. And on Facebook, because of friends, you can only have 5,000 friends. More than 5,000.
Okay, you have to. You cannot add anymore.
People can follow you, but you cannot add.
Okay.
So
there's a limit.
In order for people to follow you, means that you must be high up above here. Then only people follow you. This is how I normally see it. You have to be influencer in order for people to follow you. If not, that people don't want to follow you.
Okay. So you have certain. It's like a quota thing.
Yes.
That you reach 5,000 friends.
Yep.
Then you go to a level of influencer.
You have to be influencer because if not, then there's no reason for people to follow you because of Facebook allow people to follow you if they are not friends. To get your updates, right?
Okay.
But on LinkedIn, you can have as many as 30,000 connection. So if the strategy is very much you add friends on Facebook, you want to add strangers, maximum you can go is 5,000. More than that, you need to somehow position yourself in a way that people, if not, they don't have the motivation to follow you. But on LinkedIn, you can have a little bit more because of professionally, just like in real life, professionally we can have more professional network. Okay. So if I can give a little bit of scenario of the real world kind of situation, Facebook is very much like you are going to wedding ceremony kind of events, whereby there is very much your friends, your relative. These are all the people in the network in that wedding events. And sometimes someone might introduce us to someone else, then you establish a new connection, and then you establish that friendship kind of connection. But on LinkedIn, it's very much on like you are going to a business networking event.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Business networking event, you can just approach strangers. So for example, I don't know you, I can just approach you. Hi, my name is Johan. I pass to you my name card. I explain a little bit about what I do, and from there we already established that kind of connection. So of course we are still acquaintance. We are not yet close, but that is enough. When we request for connection, it is just like we are passing them our name card, and they can view our so-called resume inside the LinkedIn. Because one thing LinkedIn difference as compared to Facebook. In Facebook, you don't have to fill up your details. So you don't necessarily have to fill up your where you're from, where are you currently working. But on LinkedIn, if you don't do that, they will punish you in a way that your profile is not complete. And when your profile is not complete, you might not be able to use full flash of their functions. So they will always remind you to complete your profile. And once you complete your profile, in other words, in LinkedIn, you know who's that guy, where is he's currently working, how long have they been working in that organization, what are their working experience, when did they complete their study, and things like that. So you can roughly understand how old is that person based on all this information, and you can roughly understand what level are this person in organization. So you know this is a decision maker, or this is just a gatekeeper, or just someone who administrative person. So because of you know everything about this person. When I talk about customer avatar, I think it's very important in social media and digital world. We define our customer avatar. So for example, like we wanted to sell perfume. Our customer avatar may be 15 to 35 years old, female, and when we do our ads, we can come up with all these criteria. So on LinkedIn, actually you can, once you define your customer avatar, you can search and request connection from them. So for example, like my customer avatar is, I wanted to go for learning and development, and if possible managers, because most of the time the managers will have at least the say who they were going to bring into their organization. And when I add enough of these people and I put more relevant content to them, and that will build that trust, the credibility, the relationship, and from there actually they will know me, and when there is needs, they will come and ask me first. So that's the game of the idea of having LinkedIn.
So it's about if we talk about social media, regardless of the social media platform, behind each social media platform there is data, big data. So when you use that social media platform, actually you are trying to manipulate the big data behind. So in case of LinkedIn, is quite straightforward. This is about business, professional. So you have this so-called algorithm. I would say algorithm that direct you or feed you with information that help you to do or to decide on business matters.
If I can add a little bit about algorithm. Algorithm is very interesting when we talk about algorithm. LinkedIn algorithm to me is fantastic because of Facebook algorithm. I know people recently people hate about the Facebook algorithm because of they wanted to encourage people to go for paid advertising. But LinkedIn algorithm is totally different. In Facebook algorithm, whatever appears on your wall is based on Facebook. Make it like the behavior of Facebook is all about relationship, because of it's your friends and you have thousands of friends. They wanted to ensure that your closest friends is the one that more frequent will come out in your wall.
In your wall,
but LinkedIn is different. LinkedIn, number one, LinkedIn still have this thing called organic reach. Meaning that people who are not in your connection still can see your post if your post is relevant to them. So number one, LinkedIn is all about the relevancy of the postings. So once you come up with a post, LinkedIn have this AI that will analyze your content to provide it to the relevant person. So first of all, they will detect whether your content is scam or not scam. So there is AI, meaning that if you are hard selling, so they will come up with a flag, this is a scam. So you don't do hard selling, but you want to do is actually want to provide a valuable content, and then only they will look at your content, whether your content is quality or not. How do you know that? For example, like I always talk about leadership, and because of I always talk about leadership, LinkedIn already recognized Johan love leadership, and when someone else posts a content about leadership, it might appear on my wall first because of I have this interest on leadership. And if I like that post, someone who likes about leadership like a post about leadership, then LinkedIn will trigger that this content is a good content. So chances of this content will spread to more people to get better reach is very, very high. But on the other hand, if your content does not really have that traction, so you might not get very much views. So the idea is you have to come up with a good content. Your content understand that it is relevant. So it is very important to understand the keyword that you put on your LinkedIn post, because we will go to the right person. And that's fantastic because, for example, if I want to target lawyer, I wanted to create some posts that law related so that it will appear on the wall of every lawyers, and that will increase my branding, my awareness in the law fraternity.
Okay, in the law circle lah,
yeah,
say.
Law circle.
Is there any format that you recommended? Let's say if you want to promote something in LinkedIn, is there any certain format?
Okay. Most of the time, I will recommend not to advertise, come up with a hard sell kind of advertisement.
Okay.
And most of the time, the best thing to do is actually to provide perspective. Provide perspective, as if you are in the expert in the industry. So if you are professional, meaning that you might have a little bit deeper knowledge about certain things. So for example, like when I train about leadership, the market will assume that Johan knows a little bit more about leadership as compared to the normal people.
Okay, so they position you as when you have that leadership label, means that you're gonna post something that is very much on the higher ground as compared as the layman lah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So of course we use layman words, but the content that we provide must have certain kind of I like to call it perspective.
Perspective.
What people want is people want perspective. People don't want advice. People don't want. So that's why I because I conduct a lot of LinkedIn class. So most of the time I told them few things that you don't have to do. The things that you do in Facebook you don't do on LinkedIn. Number one, you don't give advice.
Okay.
What this is called counterintuitive advice.
Okay.
Counterintuitive things that I shared. Okay. Number one is you don't give advice. Number two, you don't come up with call to action.
Okay. Don't come up with the call to action. Okay.
I'm not saying that don't, but what I'm trying to say is you don't put it like frequently, because I notice in Facebook this is what people like to do when they create content.
Trying to do lah. Okay.
For example, like 3 tips how to communicate better. And then they will come up with if you like this post, please share. If you like this post, please subscribe to my channel, or things like that. In YouTube, in Facebook, you come up with this call to action so that people can engage, people will interact. But if LinkedIn you do that, people don't do that so much. If you interested, go to my website, subscribe to my page, or buy my ebook or something like that. So in Facebook, what I notice a lot of my especially my Malay friends, will say like, adakah anda belajar sesuatu? That kind of
so
ending.
It's kind of questioning the credibility of the
or if you agree with me, say I. So then people will say I that because of Facebook algorithm, when people engage with your posting, so it will increase the chances of the engagement lah. But on LinkedIn it's different. LinkedIn, if you agree with me, say I can guarantee you no one will say I.
Okay.
Because of why? Because of in Facebook it is very much friendship based. So you are my friend. When I ask you to say I, you will say I.
But you just say hi without any much of intention lah, just to support lah.
Just to support.
Okay.
But on LinkedIn, imagine if you agree with me, say I in a very formal kind of meeting, in formal kind of setup. People don't say I. People don't you don't go and show your hand, kind of that. Yes. So what I'm trying to say is the audience is different. The audience is a little bit mature in professional in their conduct. And number 3, where what we wanted to do is we don't want to be teaching people. Okay, like what I mentioned previously, in Facebook, once you reach certain level, you need to kumpul follower lah. You collect your followers. So when you have followers, people will look at you as the sifu or the someone who they wanted to learn from.
The guru.
The guru. So that's why I can teach my followers, 3 ways for you to communicate better. Number 1, be clear. Number 2, you can come up with tips. And then these people, because since they follow you, they will take your advice. But on LinkedIn, I wanted to impress the decision maker, and the decision maker sometimes they are higher than me. So you can see the difference. In Facebook, they are lower than me because they follow me. In LinkedIn, they are higher than me because of there is one book by Steve Kaplan called "Bag the Elephant." Bag the Elephant is a metaphor of selling to the corporate.
Okay.
So these are the elephants. They are above us. They are the managers, the GMs that we wanted to back them for jobs. Can you imagine you wanted to impress this person and you tell, hey GM, 3 tips of how do you communicate better. Okay. It's like you don't give advice to these people.
Yeah, you don't give advice. Okay.
Okay, but what I will recommend is you share your stories. You share your journeys. Okay, these are the content that will actually talks about your values, because of whenever you make mistake, you learn certain things, it makes you a little bit wiser, and then you share with people the lessons that you learn from life. So people love to read the lessons because they can relate from their past experience, but people don't need your advice, especially when they are lower than you. They don't need your advice. So you don't act like a sifu or a guru on LinkedIn.
Okay, Johan, can you just provide me some of your viewpoint in regards to personal branding in digital media platform?
Okay, great. Talking about personal branding. Okay, first of all, my opinion is Facebook, what we normally do is people do selling, and LinkedIn, what people do is people do branding. So that's a distinction.
Okay.
Selling and branding is very much different. Whereas that's why in Facebook we hear people have to do call to action, copywriting, urgency. We come up with all this kind of psychology in order for us to motivate people to buy and buy now. But branding is totally different ball game. So that's why the languaging in LinkedIn is very much skewed towards the branding. So I give you an example. And what is selling and branding? How does it behave in the real world? Okay. So for example, like if you want to sell, just go to pasar malam, and people will try to convince you buy this, and we will explain to you the benefits of this. What sometimes you tell what's wrong with the competitor, what's good about you. So this is the strategy of selling. Okay, but in branding, most of the time we don't really talk about the features of the product. We don't talk about the detail part of it. We don't talk about specification, but we talk about the values. Okay. So for example, Apple. Apple just talk about what they believe in. Or Nike talks about what they believe in. This is all branding kind of messaging. Okay. So Nike doesn't tell you that our material is the best in the world, we are better than Adidas. Nike don't tell that material imported from United States or that kind of thing. Okay. But Nike talks about what they believes in, and most of the time they don't even have call to action. Okay. Imagine Apple. Apple don't Apple come up with a message, think different and things like that, and then they don't end the advertisement with go and buy now, buy Apple now at your nearest Apple store. They don't come up with that call to action. So same goes to in our social media, the messaging of selling and branding is very much different. Selling is very much we use copywriting and things like that, but branding we just share our journey, we share the values, what do we believe in, we share certain of our perspective. If I can recall, Dunhill is very interesting. Dunhill talks about if I can recall during my childhood, Dunhill talks about falsafah kami adalah mudah. Setiap barangan yang ada jenama every product with a Dunhill brand means certain things. Gaya mutu keunggulan, the three things. So that is pure branding. Doesn't talks about the watch, doesn't talks about the suits, doesn't talk about the cigarettes. They talks about what they believe in. Okay. So messaging in LinkedIn, if you wanted to do personal branding, we talk about very much about what we believe in. And most of the time, here's my philosophy. And most of the time, how do you know a good brand? A good brand needs no introduction. If I mention to you this brand, for example, like Lee Meridian, Hilton, Marriott, or maybe this kind of brand. Okay, what product actually they are having?
They have this hotel and resort.
Hotel and resort, right? But they never call themselves Le Meridian Hotel or Hilton Hotel or Marriott Hotel. They just call themselves Marriott.
Okay.
Because of by the brand itself, people already know
that's the product.
Yes, okay. Who they are and what they stand for.
Okay.
So in personal branding also, we wanted to the idea is actually we wanted to work really hard until when I mentioned Johan Irwan, at least people in my industry, people in my target market, straight away knows who I am and what really I stand for.
Okay.
Okay, so in order for us to do that, we need to come up with a constant messaging, constant, I can say, campaign to actually come up with our perspective, our thoughts, our opinion, our.
So you are actually building an identity.
Identity, yes.
Can I say that you put your identity there, and you have this tailored so-called content to build. To develop that identity.
Yes.
Okay. So identity development through content.
Yeah.
Right. And that content supposed to have that message of value.
Yes.
Okay. Who am I? What I'm doing. What I can do for you. Rather than okay, I'm selling this.
Yes.
So it's different.
It's different.
Okay. That's interesting.
So if you can notice, most of the time in Facebook, people say like Ali Kowe or you know they put the brand.
They put the
Johan
brand.
Insurance behind. So I would recommend that if a good brand, just like hotel, you know, only budget hotel call themselves hotel. If you notice, only budget hotel call themselves hotel.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so a premium brand don't have the products or the title behind it. So I don't have to call myself Johan Trainer or Johan Leadership Corporate Trainer or something like that.
Because you carry that brand.
Yes,
the name carry that brand itself.
Yes.
Rather than you have to spell it out. Okay, I'm doing this.
Yes.
No need.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the thing on.
That's the philosophy on
personal branding. So it's personalized. When you say personalized, means that you need to tailor your content to support the personalized. Okay, so the value here or the challenge here is for you to keep thinking and keep generating those idea that support you forward lah. So it is an engagement.
Yes.
It's an engagement, and you are not like selling this and then you jump from this to this kind of stuff. You are actually serious.
Yes.
Right. And in business, I would say so. Business to business, they looking at building trust. And when they see you are serious through your act of giving thought about that subject matters, and then that trust develop over time. So I guess that's one of the key takeaway on personal branding, and you targeting business to business. So it's about trust. Don't think this short term kind of assignment, then okay, that's it, finish. You kind of think ahead that you be able to you have then an opportunity to develop your personal brand moving forward. Right? Okay. All right, that's very, very interesting. Okay. I got this question regarding LinkedIn, since there is a lot of potential on LinkedIn. Can you just tell me a story about how can someone successfully build the personal brand in LinkedIn? Okay. Perhaps the strategy that you can share.
The strategy that I can share. Most of the time in my session, I will talk about. Actually, there's a quote I heard from this one professional speaker named Mike Blissett. So he came to Malaysia, I think in 2015, and he said that people buy from people.
People buy from people.
People buy from people who they know, they like, and they trust.
Okay.
So they know, so meaning that they have to know you first. Second level, they have to like you, and then they trust you, and then only they want to do business with you.
Okay.
Okay. So I put it as that as a strategy. First, we need to get people to know us first. Second, we need to get people to like us. Third, we need to get people to trust us. So that is like the
like
steps.
Steps lah.
And then once they trust you, then it's very easy for you to do business.
Okay.
So you know when I first started in this training industry, the biggest challenge is people don't trust me because of, again, when you deal with corporate, they are spending company's money, not their own money. So if you are spending it with your own pocket money, whatever mistake, you take it on your own. On your own, yeah. But if you are spending other people's money, which your organization money, this is like the money that being trusted to you for you to utilize it. So they need to make sure that they are spending the money in a very right way. So that's why corporate are willing to spend a little bit more, but if you can give them some kind of guarantee that you are going to give certain kind of services. So that's why branding is very important, because of they don't want to deal with someone who today they are in business but tomorrow they are doing something else. So they want some form of long-term relationship and credibility. So building credibility is very, very important, especially when dealing with in corporate. So how do we get people to know us? Number one is we need to be visible.
Be visible, okay.
Then only people know us. And easiest way to get people to know us is actually by connecting with them. So again, in Facebook, it's friends. In LinkedIn, it's connection. So you just can request connection to whoever you think relevant to you in your business. So for example, like myself, I always search for the target market that I wanted to find, and then I just add them. I'm not saying randomly, but strategically.
Okay, that's entrepreneur's way. Strategic and purposeful thinking. All right.
Yes. Okay. Then once you add them, now they at least they know you, because of if they wanted to press approve or they wanted to also to connect with you, at least they will check out who you are. So that's why your profile need to be very, very. I'm not saying you have to be really, really wow, but at least your profile need to be something that give you credibility. So you have to put in a way that people will impress with your profile. Tell people your success story. Tell people the results that you deliver. Not only the position that you have, but the results that you deliver.
The result, okay.
Okay. So that's the first step. Get people to know you. Second step is get people to like you. We need to do things that people like. Okay, for example, like when you post something, I engage with you. I like your post. I comment on your post. I say, "Wow, that's a great job." So how would you feel? So of course you feel happy that someone take note of your the things that happen. Yes. Okay. And you feel happy, you feel good, and you started to notice, who is this guy?
Okay, yeah.
So for example, like they may approve thousands of connection, but they might not remember you. But I want to make people remember you and people like you is by actually you have to like them first. So this have to be genuinely happen. I mean, meaning that you cannot fake your comment. You cannot feel like, oh, you're handsome, whereas you don't feel like that. You don't come up with that kind of statement. So for example, like when people share something successful, you congratulate them, thank you very much, and don't come up with comment like congratulations. Because of why? Everybody says congratulations. When you say congratulations, what you have achieved is very inspiring. I hope someday I will be like successful like you. So that kind of messaging will trigger them. Oh, who is this guy? Okay. And then it makes them wanting to reply. Oh, thank you very much. You are so humble, or you are so. That creates a conversation. So what we want to do is actually create conversation, and if people have conversation with us, we know that they like us.
Okay, so that's the indicator that they like you.
Yes.
Okay. Alright.
So as much as possible, we need to identify people that we want to have conversation with, and we try to have a good conversation with them. Not just okay, good, thank you, inspiring, congratulations kind of
but rather you try to personalize more.
Yes.
You add extra human touch lah.
Human touch. Yes.
Okay.
I think that this is something that happens in the real world. But the thing is, in the real world, when your target market or the person that you wanted to deal with, for example, get promotion, you don't know. But the power of social media is once they get promotion, the system will notify you, hey, this guy got promotion. You want to congratulate them. So these are the things that I think the power of leveraging using digital. And I personally, I do it not intentionally at the very beginning. I do it just for I do it because of I really wanted to do it, and I was surprised that I get requests for my training services because of I'm having this conversation. So that's why I asked myself, what if I do more of this? And when I do more of this, I got more and more requests. So that's the beauty of having personalized. So personal branding is also about personalization to your target audience.
Okay, so when you get that level of trust, then it's easy for you to convince your potential customers, because they also will look at your credential through the network that you have.
Yes.
They will just look at your name and then all your details, and then they will look at all those contacts or connections. And when you got into that all this connection is all well known and what we call it famous or influential in one word, then easier for you to even to the trust itself is easier to gain.
Yes, exactly.
Because you are there as a member, and then you are building up the connection. You are genuine.
Yep.
When there is a genuine, then there is a trust.
Yes.
And once you got the trust, you are in the right pool.
Yep.
Then it's not hard anymore to convince.
Exactly. So when I first started, it's very difficult for you to convince people how good I am. It's very difficult to tell people that I've been doing this for long and I've delivered certain kind of results. But with the power of social media, now when I meet my client, people already know the things that I do. People already know what I believe in. People already know what I'm good at, and it's a matter of confirming the program, so confirming the deals. So that's the power of using social media. So you can shorten the sales cycle, especially. And sometimes I don't even meet the decision maker. They just trusted their people to just settle the paperwork for me, and I got 40,000-50,000 deal just like that, because of trust already established.
So that's even the digital platform actually open up the market. And then human being, when they make decision, they still human being. They still rely on the human nature, which is so-called trust, so-called pure relationship.
Yes.
But then only different is that you try to build this connection or this relationship in a digital manner. Right, the what we call it, the interface might be different.
Yeah.
But then the human nature is still there, is still to be used in making decision. So I think there's quite a lot of important key takeaways that Mr. Johan actually shared through this video. I think last word from him, and then we're gonna wrap up this video session live from Career Connect, MMU Cyberjaya. Okay, Mr. Johan, maybe you have any short short?
Sure. Building brand is not overnight work. You need to put a lot of work.
Okay.
It's hard work, and you have to be strategic because since you are going to put work, why not be strategic towards it? And the most importantly, if you want to build brand, you have to really clarify your values, and also you really have to be authentic. Being authentic is what makes people connect with you. So I think that's very important.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Johan.
Okay, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, see you in another video session. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.